Alright, imagine that you're peacefully resting in your bed, when suddenly, you jolt up. As you look around to identify where the noise is coming from, you spot it. It's the goddamn smoke detector. You don't know why it's beeping, as there is clearly no smoke anywhere, so you reach up to it and take the batteries out to stop it fucking beeping, instead of addressing the smoke alarm's actual problem. The alarm is now silent, but the potential problem persists. This is kinda like deleting Instagram. Instead of working around the problem, you're running away from it and covering it with a plaster, which leaves the root issue unresolved and only gives short-term relief instead of long-term fixing. If we haven't met yet, hello, I'm Aaron, based straight A student, always loving up life, and I also wanted to delete Instagram. But let's actually start with Why by Simon Sinek. Why are we actually deleting Instagram? Well, probably like myself, you wanted to remove the insane distraction that a phone can be, and also the intense amount of dopamine that we get from apps like Instagram. And so there are two reasons why this is actually bad. The first one being that we're actually running away from the problem. So we have a problem that we are spending too much time on social media apps like this, and we're getting too distracted. It's too bad for our mental health because of the mass amounts of dopamine that we're fed. And so instead of confronting the problem head on, we're running away from it by deleting the app or hiding it or whatever. And it's not that long term of a solution, is it? Because any day, right, you can just install the app back again from the app store and you're just back where you started. So by deleting Instagram, we're actually running away from the problem being Instagram. And instead of confronting it head on and actually solving like the root cause of it, we're choosing to run away. So the problem is still there, right? It's still like this underlying issue. We're just choosing not to see it. It's like there are harsh truths in the world and we're just choosing to like stay blind to them, which never is auspicious. And the second reason why is that we're missing out on a bunch of social interactions. In 2024, if you want to network and expand like your connections, one of the best platforms to do it is going to be Instagram. And so even if it is very dopamine heavy, and even if it is not the best for mental health, it's simply like how the game works in 2024. And so deleting social media apps like Instagram, TikTok, it's not the best course of action. And so here is exactly what I did then, because Instagram can still be a huge distraction. First thing I did was to remove all my apps from my home screen. This is one of the many tips that I covered in the video where I shared how I optimize my phone right here. After reading the book Make Time, is to remove a fuck ton of apps from your home screen. This is my home screen. It's literally just my Notion, my favorite Notion pages, and my Google Calendar. That's literally it, and I have nothing else. If you scroll, like I've got some apps here, but it's creating a friction. So the first thing that when I open my phone, I see my Notion, I see my calendar, which is what I want to see. And all the apps like social media, like Instagram and TikTok, I don't have it anywhere. And so the only way to get it is to either go to the last page if you have an iPhone and go to like the app library here and search for it there. Or you can like swipe down and then manually type in the app. Basically, when you have an iPhone, you can go to your apps on your home screen, like your Instagram, TikTok, whatever. You can press on them and it will show you an option which is remove from home screen. You click that and the apps will just vanish from the home screen. If you have an Android, I think you can do something similar. But basically what we're trying to induce here, right, is friction. Because friction is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. If we add friction between the thing that we don't want to do, that will actually result in us not feeling like doing enough because we have to put in effort to get to the thing. Like let's say for example, if you are desperately craving some ice cream and you really want to have some ice cream, you're tired, you're getting like super hard cravings, and the nearest ice cream store is like 10 kilometers away from you and there's nowhere to get there other than walking, you're going to be much less likely to actually go and get the ice cream because it's not that worth of your effort, because it's too much friction to actually get there, right? It's 10 kilometers of walking, which I don't think you're going to do just for an ice cream, right? Whilst if the ice cream store was like right next to your house, like let's say you walk out the door and to your left there's like always an ice cream man just sitting there with ice creams to sell, then there is basically no friction, right? Compared to the one where it's 10 kilometers away. You would much more likely fall to your cravings and go get the ice cream because there's no friction in the way. It's super easy to go get the ice cream. So this is the thing that we're trying to induce by removing the apps from our home screen. Instead of having the apps right on our home screen ready to be clicked on, we're instead putting them like far away in the app library. So the only way to get to them is to either swipe all the way and find the app amongst the tons of other apps you have, or like manually type it up. And just that little level of friction over like a long time is gonna marginally change and significantly change how you approach these apps. So level 0 is like just having the apps in your home screen, not doing anything to them. Level 1 is removing them from the home screen, and this is a level that I've personally gone up to. But you can go one step higher if you're really serious about this, if you feel like you're in a complete rut. and that's when you completely log out from the apps itself. So instead of deleting them, you log out, and so that introduces even more friction. So every time you want to use the app for something, you would have to log in, enter in all your details, remember your passwords. So that is a way that we can combat this problem without necessarily running away from it. Alright, the next thing that I implement is to come at it with intentionality. It is to always have like this level of awareness, to know everything that I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I even have a sticky note of it on my wall right there underneath the desk, and basically I just want to be reminding myself that in this moment I'm aware of exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and why in this manner specifically. So every time I open one of these social media apps like Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, I come in it with a plan, bro. I have a fucking mission, and I know exactly what I'm gonna be doing and why. And so I wouldn't like randomly open the app and just start scrolling on reels or whatever with no real aim or intention and just waste my hours away. So you can do what I do and take like a sticky note and put up exactly what I wrote, just to remind yourself to be aware and intentional, because that's all it takes, you know, just to remember, because most people go through life sleeping, and so we just want to keep in mind to be aware and to always like come at life with like a clear why and a clear purpose. You can either do like a sticky note, or you can like rip a page off your book and just write it on that. Anything works. Just a sign or something, a symbol on some kind of wall somewhere, so where you're going to be constantly exposed to it, so that you're always intentional and you don't go on like insanely long scrolling sprees. The third and final thing that I implement is to batch it. Sometimes we cannot get away from social media, right? Like I said, it's one of the prime things that we use in 2024 to communicate and network with other people. And so what I do is use a productivity tip called batching, where you do the same things of the task all at once and you batch them together. Like for example, if you're going to be filming videos for YouTube, you would batch them together and do like multiple videos in one session, so that it's not like spread out over the days and it's just a bunch more headache, when you can just bang out like 10 videos in one sitting and get like a fuck ton of work done. And it's such an auspicious productivity tactic, and we can apply it to our social media. So for example, I use Snapchat and Instagram once a day. I batch all the messages at like after like 8 p.m 9 p.m when I'm like done with all my like goals and purpose layer stuff. It's like on my calendar where it's just like a 15-20 minute block every single night where I batch open all the different messages. And so you can also implement something like that either once a day or once a week or whatever suits you the best. It's kind of crazy, bro. It's crazy that how people are literally like absorbed by social media throughout the entire day. Like every single like 10 minutes, every 10 minutes they're checking social media. I'll tell you, bro, the first time I batched social media like this at the end of the day, throughout the day, right, I got so many like impulses and desires to just check social media, see like what's going on, like if there's anything that I'm missing out on. FOMO. And so that is something that we should also be aware of, FOMO, because we can easily fall for it and feel like that we're missing out on stuff when we're not really, because we're just batching it to the end. And you can even say to people who are important to you that you actually might miss out on, to say like, you can just send me a text message if it's really important. Otherwise, just know that I won't be looking at your message probably till like the end of the day. That's what I personally choose to do. If you want to reach me, then the only way to do it is by text message, and then you'll be sure that I'll reply because I have notifications turned on for text messages. But every single other social media app, I have notifications turned off, and I check it only once a day at the night, since I'm working on so many different pursuits at the same time. So I really need to be focused on this so I can make enough progress in them and not completely be distracted. Because for me, bro, every single minute is valuable. Like every single minute I feel like I can get something done, and that's also how you should be treating your time. So I hope that helped, bro. If you want to learn more about how I personally stay focused when I have multiple different pursuits, then I can click here where I talk a lot more about that. Do subscribe, yeah, and as always, your potential is only limited by your intention. Take care, bro.